Good evening, you're watching To The Point. I am Preeti Chaudhary. Our focus this evening in yet another legal setback. For Rahul Gandhi, the Gujarat High Court today dismissed his plea seeking a stay on his conviction in a criminal defamation case. Now the Gandhi scion has an option to approach the Supreme Court, which his legal team is going to do so. But huge amounts of politics understandably playing on the sidelines of it all.
When Parliament meets for monsoon session, Rahul Gandhi won't be there to attend it. The Gujarat High Court on Friday dismissed the Congress leader's plea for stay on his conviction and 2-year jail term in a defamation case. A stay would have reversed his disqualification as an MP. The court said that at least 10 criminal cases are pending against Rahul Gandhi. Justice Hemant Prajak noted that a complaint has been filed against Rahul by the grandson of V. Savarkar in a Pune court over a statement he made on the revolutionary at the Cambridge. The court said there is no reasonable ground to stay the conviction. This means Rahul Gandhi cannot attend parliament sessions as MP and will not be able to contest elections. Unhappy with the High Court's verdict, Congress workers staged protest in Delhi, Patna and Chennai. The Congress says it will fight the battle both politically and legally.
If you think free, speak free, act free, you will be visited with the worst possible criminal, civil and other consequences. We have no doubt that this intersection of arrogance and infallibility shown by the government of the day and the ruling party of the day will be dealt with properly in the Supreme Court.
The BJP welcomed the Gujarat High Court verdict.
एक महान देशभक्त वीर सावरकर जिसने 11 साल अंडमान में गुजारे, उसके बारे में कितनी नफरत है उनके दिल में, ये समझिए आप। सावरकर के पोते ने भी एक केस किया है। वीर सावरकर को उन्होंने विदेश में भी अपमानित किया। तो अपमानित करना, बेइज्जत करना, एब्यूज करना राहुल गांधी की फितरत है।
The court verdict also exposed divisions within the opposition ranks, with Telangana Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao's party snubbing the Congress leader.
Who cares what Rahul Gandhi has to say? What do you think Rahul Gandhi is today? I'm asking you a straight question. Today Rahul Gandhi comes here and makes policy statements. In what capacity is he making the statement? Is he the president of Congress party? Is he the president of the Congress party in Telangana? Is he even a member of parliament? In what capacity is he making these announcements, and why should you take him seriously?
In March, Rahul Gandhi was convicted by a Surat court of defaming the Modi community in a remark he made at a rally in Karnataka ahead of the 2019 Lok Sabha elections.
एक छोटा सा सवाल, इन सब के नाम, इन सब चोरों के नाम मोदी 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 कैसे हैं? नीरव मोदी, ललित मोदी, नरेंद्र मोदी, और अभी थोड़ा ढूंढेंगे तो और बहुत सारे मोदी निकलेंगे.
Now Rahul Gandhi can move the Supreme Court seeking a stay on his conviction and jail sentence. Unless he gets relief from the top court, the Congress leader won't be able to fight the 2024 Lok Sabha elections. Bureau Report, India Today.
So what next for disqualified MP Rahul Gandhi? Let's take the question to our panelists this evening. Joining me is Prajata Sarangi, National Spokesperson and Lok Sabha MP, Bharatiya Janata Party. She'll be with us shortly. Mohan Kumar Mangalam, National Spokesperson, Congress. Rashid Kidwai, Senior Journalist. Mr. Mangalam, what's the next step? The Congress says they will fight this out politically and legally. Legally, not many options now. You'd have to approach the Supreme Court.
Legally, the logical next step is to approach the Supreme Court. I believe the legal team is getting ready for the same. Politically, I think the more we speak about what has happened and all the events that led up to Mr. Gandhi's conviction, as well as the context of the judgment that has come out, the contents of the judgment rather, people will make a decision on their own. I mean, I think the ultimate court here is the court of public opinion. And the more you see this sort of large conspiracy where BJP supporters, BJP office bearers from all over the country are filing defamation cases at the drop of a hat against Mr. Gandhi, you can tell that this is a concerted attempt at basically trying to throttle his voice. And that's because he has been the most vociferous and fearless voice in and outside of Parliament. against the government.
But, Mr. Mangalam, the question is, there was an opportunity for Mr. Rahul Gandhi, for someone who openly comes out and says he has absolutely no ego. If there was an apprehension that he offended a particular community, and he says he has no he had absolutely no intention of. But if there was an apprehension, there was a window given to him to apologize, which he didn't.
Why should he apologize for something that he believes is not wrong and that we believe that he has done no wrong? I mean, the whole principle, the first precedent for a defamation case is that the individual who has been affected is the one who's actually supposed to file the case. And here you have this sort of amorphous, undefined body that has filed the case. You have no evidence of malice. You have no evidence of loss or suffering of the individuals concerned due to defamation. The fundamental precedents of criminal defamation have not been satisfied in the case. And you're asking him to apologize. You don't apologize when someone alleges or accuses you of something where you've done no wrong. So I don't see a reason why he has to apologize at all.
No, at that point of time, and I want to bring in Rashid Kidwai as well and Aparajita Sarungi into this conversation. At that point of time, the intention was, if inadvertently he has hurt a certain community, in this case possibly the OBC community represented by the surname Modi, then why not apologize and get on with it? He would not have invited the defamation in any case then, because there was a window for him to apologize. But Rashid Kidwai, before we cut across to go ahead, sir. Go ahead. Make your point.
No, I just want to let you know that if you go back to how this case even proceeded, the complainant himself got a stay on his complaint and waited a full year before the bench changed so he could get it in front of another magistrate and get a favorable verdict for himself. So you can see that there's an entire plan laid out on to convict him. I don't think any sort of apology in any sort of time frame would have stopped them from going ahead with what they wanted to do to begin with. This all happened, and this entire case that was in abeyance was awakened only because of the speech that Mr. Gandhi made in Parliament exposing the Gautam Adani Modi nexus.
All right, I want to bring in Rashid Kidwai into this conversation. Rashid Kidwai, the sheer fact, of course, the legal team is going to go about its business, which is to now approach the Supreme Court, and in all possibility, keeping in mind the nature of the case, that in 162 years of the existence of the IPC, never has anyone been given a full term of 2 years for defamation or slander. In all probability, legal framework-wise, he should get reprieve at the Supreme Court level. That aside, Rashid Kidwai, the question is, the Congress working. Now, what is the thinking of the Congress? Because there clearly is an attempt to build Rahul Gandhi as an ideological figure and possibly less of a political figure going forward.
Yes, so I think the Congress has to make up its mind whether they want to fight this case as a legal battle or as a political level. If it's a political level, then Rahul has to suffer some kind of hardship, and it can be disqualification, it can be jail, it can be a mix of two, and then he can be a leader at large. He may not be a prime ministerial candidate, etc., and that can bring, there is a silver lining that can bring some kind of cohesiveness in the opposition unity, etc. But the problem is that what we are seeing repeatedly, Preeti, is that a mix of both. So every time there is a hearing, see, there is a distinction between how the courts operate. We can go on questioning them, and what is the kind of political conspiracy of it in kind of entangling and framing of Rahul Gandhi. The Congress is not able to explain this properly to the voter or to the masses. So there is element of confusion. Preeti, 2019, I remember when Lok Sabha elections were going on, and there was a case about Rafale, and Rahul Gandhi had made some observation. Each time there was a polling day, and it would coincide. The Congress lawyers kept kind of debating about whether the word should be apology or regret or some kind of thing. Now these are technicalities, so Congress should not get into technicalities if it wants to make a political battle out of this. The mixed approach is proving to be very costly for the Congress, because average voter, average viewer of your program cannot make a distinction. So they look, there is a setback by the court. So there must have something must have gone wrong. So there is a case between court and a political party, that being the BJP.
Well, there's a certain amount of truth in that, Rashid Kidwai, because ultimately, what is the messaging that is going on, that every time the court is turning down the plea of Rahul Gandhi, nobody really is getting into the semantics of the issue, Mr. Mangalam. But having said that, I want to bring in Aparajita Sarangi as well into this conversation. Ms. Sarangi, do you not as a Lok Sabha MP, as somebody who sits in the seat of a lawmaker, not find it odd that in 162 years of the IPC, madam, that never has any individual been given the full term when it comes down to slander or defamation?
A very good evening. At the outset, let me say that we, the Bharatiya Janata Party, and I'm sure a lot of people with the Bharatiya Janata Party, welcome the order of the Gujarat High Court. See, whatever has happened had to happen, because Rahul Gandhi is one person and he is the member of parliament, let's not forget that, who has been behaving arrogantly and irresponsibly. Now, he has been a habitual offender, let's not forget that. There are 10 criminal cases against him, and many of them are defamation suits. Now, he has also spoken in a very, I would say, irresponsible manner about Veer Savarkar, and the grandson had to go to the Pune court. Now, why is it happening? He goes to London, he goes to Cambridge, and he starts talking against the leaders of our country. He starts talking against the system here on a foreign land. Now,
what's wrong with that? Ms. Sarangi, what's wrong with that? You know, he's a leader of the opposition. It's well within his rights to criticize the government, be it on foreign soil or not. But my question is that you talk about over 10 defamation cases, but you also must have an understanding, Ms. Sarangi, that over these 10 defamation cases that you're talking about largely have been filed by BJP workers across the country. At one end, the BJP wants to make it seem that this is a legal process and that's what's going on, and Rahul Gandhi is paying the price of defamation and he has to face the full brunt of the law. On the other hand, it is being expedited also with multiple cases filed by our very own. So why shouldn't it look like vendetta, which is the question of the Congress here?
See, there is no question of vendetta. I fail to understand why should it be called vendetta on part of Bharatiya Janata Party or Modi government. See, here is a person who is all out to defame a particular community, bring down the image of a particular community, humiliate the community. And here is a spokesperson from the party. I'm appalled. He says he spoke what he felt. I mean, he cannot be allowed to feel and speak in this manner. Modi community is a very important community, a very important segment. And they are backward classes. Whichever class, a person or a group of persons in the country would be, I think we don't have the right to humiliate or defame. Now remember, the Rafale case, the Supreme Court gave a judgment which was not palatable to the Congress, and this gentleman again had the audacity to question the decision of the Supreme Court, and ultimately he had to apologize. So as I said, he is a habitual offender. This is highly irresponsible behavior, and then the law has to take its course. Now, nobody is above law, nobody is above...
Can I intervene for a minute?
True, madam, the law has to take its course, but you know, the law would have taken its course in any case. And the question that is being raised is that the Bharatiya Janata Party is trying to draw maximum political mileage of it, with multiple cases of defamation being registered against Rahul Gandhi across the country, many of them by BJP leaders, multiple press conferences at the back of it. So, you know, there is a counter-argument to that as well, which we'll come to. Mr. Mangalam, I want to bring you in, and I want to take off from what Mr. Kidwai also said. Here you have the spokesperson of the BJP who says that Rahul Gandhi is paying the price of defaming a particular community which belongs to the OBC with the name of Modi. Now, you can cry horse and say that Rahul Gandhi did not mean to insult the OBC community or the Modi community representing the OBCs. However, the messaging which is going down, and which possibly, as Mr. Kidwai is saying, that you're allowing to go down, could be counterproductive.
You know, I was trying to interrupt when Mr. Kidwai was talking as well, because I disagree with him. I'm a working president of Tamil Nadu Congress, and in my state, wherever I have gone to, whichever district I've gone also, the first question people ask me is, how could they do this to Rahul Gandhi? And what did he say that was so egregious? Nobody believes it. Anybody seen speech, especially because Lalit Modi, etc., are not even part of the OBC community. But let's put that aside for a second, Preeti, because I want to bring out something that's very important in this judgment. We haven't gotten to the text of the judgment. It's a 125-page judgment that just was given to us about 3 o'clock or so. But in that particular judgment, there are couple of very, very important points that I really want to make. You know, when this first happened, the BJP said all are equal under the law. I mean, the law will take its course. Mr. Gandhi, just because he's, you know, one of the preeminent leaders of the opposition, should not get any special treatment. In clause 45 in this judgment, and I'm going to read it out for the benefit of your viewers, it says, it appears that the accused is a member of parliament possessing high position in society and having bounden duty not to scandalize any person from the society. So he's being held in this judgment to a higher standard than an ordinary citizen. And the argument made is that under the facts and circumstances of the case committed by the accused falls in the category of moral turpitude. Now, I must, for the benefit of your viewers, tell you what Supreme Court defines as moral turpitude. There are only 3 kinds of crimes that fall under moral turpitude. Assault like rape, robbery, dacoity, or crimes against society like gambling, prostitution.
You know, Mr. Mangalam, that's the interpretation.
Can you believe that this court...
No, you know, sir, the fact is neither you or I can question the judgment of the learned judge. That is what the Delhi High Court, the Gujarat High Court.
We cannot, no, excuse me, I want to clarify. We can question the rationale of anything in any judgment. We cannot attribute nefarious motives to the judgment.
All right.
Let's be clear.
All right, okay, but are you attributing motive then to the judgment?
I'm not attributing motive. I'm merely saying, doesn't this logic sound bizarre?
Well, that's for the Supreme Court to decide now, and maybe take
and I'm sure the Supreme Court will decide.
Yes, okay, that's for the Supreme Court to decide and take a view on that. But, you know, last 2 questions, Rashid Kidwai and Aparajita Sarangi. I want to bring you back into this conversation. Mr. Kidwai, do you see Rahul Gandhi milking this as possible sympathy, empathy, what like Mr. Mangalam says, maybe not milking, but he says there is empathy for Rahul Gandhi at the back of this happened? Or do you see this as possible confusion where the voter is concerned?
Well, I think, Preeti, we are a large country, and you know, there is no single issue. So I think Mr. Rahul Gandhi may go on talking about it, and it will find traction among you know, the Congress supporters, while there will be others who will be equally opposed to it. My problem is that consistency. If Mr. Rahul Gandhi wants to make a political case that, you know, his free speech is not being allowed, after all, public figures like Savarkar and Nehru are constantly criticized by both sides of the spectrum, and you don't go to court. I mean, there is no scope for you know, criminal defamation in these kind of cases. But you know, I am saying you cannot be fighting the courts and finding loopholes in a judgment. While I agree with Mr. Kumar Mangalam that there may be very big loopholes, but it is very difficult to tell the voter in political terms that courts and the, you know, BJP are on the same page. This is a very difficult thing to communicate. Therefore, I think Congress will be better off making a political case against the BJP or its political rivals, and Mr. You know, Rahul Gandhi is spearheading that campaign. But when it goes to court and there is a adverse judicial pronouncement, there, you know, a lot of problem and grey area comes in. That is a real challenge for Rahul Gandhi.
All right, Aparajita Sarangi, once again I'll ask you the question that I began with. The BJP keeps saying that Rahul Gandhi has to face the law. You know, plausible, understandable, but as somebody who is a lawmaker, madam, I'll ask you that question again. No matter who you criticize for defamation, 162 years of the IPC, Ms. Sarangi, and not once has anyone been held or given the maximum sentence of 2 years for defamation. Do you not find it odd?
If the judiciary is pronouncing judgment, if Gujarat High Court has pronounced judgment, please let me know how is Modi government or how is Bharatiya Janata Party responsible? That's the question today. See, nobody is above constitution or the law of the land or the judiciary. The law will take its course. Now, how are we involved? This is one part. Number 2, I would say that this particular case has traveled to 3 courts. Number 1, the lower court, where the sentence had been pronounced and where he had been asked to apologize very candidly by the honorable judge at that point of time. And you know what he said? "Main maafi nahi mangunga kyunki main Gandhi hu, Savarkar nahi." Now, what kind of statement is this? Puerile or intentional? Is it arrogance? Because he belongs to a particular privileged family?
But Ms. Sarangi, it could be neither puerile, you know, nor tactical. It could just be factual. Because it did happen.
See, the point is, why should he bring Veer Savarkar there? And does he know who is Veer Savarkar? I still doubt whether he has seen the prison hole of Veer Savarkar in Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Now, number two, the case goes to the session court. Now, the session court grants the bail, but there is no stay on the conviction. And now here is Gujarat High Court, which has not stayed the conviction. Now, I think it was very simple. He would have apologized. Now, here the spokespersons must not come out from the Congress and say that, Rahul Gandhi did what he thought it was right. I mean, this is absolutely...
A quick comment by Mr. Mangalam. Mr. Mangalam, do you get what Ms. Sarangi is also saying? Because multiple courts in Gujarat, drawing also from what Mr. Kidwai has said, has given a ruling. Now, yes, you're going to the Supreme Court. Possibly you will get reprieve, but the narrative would have already been set, for a fair while.
I mean, I think that's basically a subjective question to ask. I don't believe the narrative is set in one way or the other.
Okay.
I mean, I would say that when we head to the Supreme Court, we expect to get reprieve from that, and that will be the Supreme Court is the highest court in the land. So their judgment stands, and they have often overturned concurrent judgments, not twice, but 3 or 4 times at least. When the judgment has been in one direction, they have overturned it. So
so we'll only know, and once again, no matter what,
that the Supreme Court will overturn it.
Gentlemen, Mr. Kidwai and Mr. Mangalam, appreciate you joining us. Thank you, ma'am, Ms. Sarangi there, joining us on this debate this evening. We're going to just let it rest. We're going to leave it for our viewers to decide on which side of this divide that they stand on. Rahul Gandhi is going to legally and politically fight it out. Legally will mean the Supreme Court. Politically, there seems to be an ideological case being made for Rahul Gandhi when he's going to the people in terms of, standing up for plurality and so much else.